Jess. Welcome back. Thanks so much for checking back in on my channel. And today I wanted to come on really quickly and just tell you a couple essentials that you're going to need if you are ready to start your loc journey, or you may already be on your journey. So either way, these are 6 things that I think are essential when you have locs. Definitely going to need these, so go out and pick them up and make sure you have them on hand so you'll be ready for anything. So thing number 1, the first thing you're going to need is some elastics. So if you're in the beginning of your journey and your hair is on the shorter side, you probably can get away with rubber bands, honestly. But if your hair is a little bit thicker, you may need to get some of these thinner elastics. These are really good for styling because they're really thin. If you need to do any kind of styles, honestly, you can use these. Now these thicker ones are a little bit better if you're going to do like ponytails and stuff like that. It'll help keep your ponytail up a little bit higher, and it just helps hold the shape of whatever style you're trying to do if you want like pigtails or things like that. Now these skinny ones I don't recommend for ponytails because they're just so skinny that they dig into your hair and it actually makes the ponytail kind of painful. So that's why it's good to have 2 sizes. So you want to make sure you have a few that are thin and a few that are a little bit thicker. And of course you don't have to go crazy expensive, just run in the beauty supply and get the cheapest one they have. It's fine. Now if your hair is longer, because some people's hair is, you know, waist length, tailbone length, you will probably have to buy the headbands that look like this, but they're actually headbands, but those will be for your hair, you know, your ponytails and things like that. You'll have to use headbands. I haven't graduated there just yet, but I know a lot of people who are there and that's what they use. So that's the first thing you want to get. You want to get you some good elastics, or if your hair is a little bit shorter or finer, you can go ahead and start with rubber bands. And that's just going to be for your everyday styles. Number 2 you want to make sure you have is definitely some oil. Okay, we got to keep our hair moisturized. That is major, 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 major. People think that when you have locs that you don't have to do anything to your hair and you just leave it alone and it just is what it is. Like, no, you still have to, it's still hair at the core, so you still have to moisturize it as if it was loose hair. So it's very important to have some kind of oil on hand. I usually like to have a good castor oil. That's kind of my favorite, but this oil is more on the heavy side, so you may or may not want to pair it with something a little bit lighter. And my lighter oil, this is what I happen to have on hand. And I just picked this up, I don't know why, I was just in the store and decided to try it out, and so far it's been okay. Nothing to rave about, but you know, let me not say I don't like Jamaican mango and lime products, because I do, but I typically don't like things that have like a strong smell to it, just because once you start to sweat, you know, in a couple days, now it smells like sweat and mangoes, you know, if that makes sense, and I don't like that smell. So you end up washing your hair a lot more frequently. But I will say I do like the moisture that this product provides my hair. And it doesn't smell bad, I just don't like how that smells when it mixes with your sweat. So it's not a bad product. I have enjoyed it and I may keep using it, but I just grabbed it to try out because typically I only use my castor oil and I love it. I love castor oil. I love all types, all smells castor oil. I really think it keeps my hair moisturized and really, really like baby soft, but it is a heavier product. So I'm just trying it out with something lighter and just seeing how they pair together, and so far so good. But yeah, that's just one thing that you're going to want to make sure you have is some kind of oil, something to put some kind of moisture in your hair. So it can be whatever oil you prefer. Some people even like, you know, coconut oil or things of that nature. So just play around and see what works for you and for your hair, and see what your hair likes personally and stick to that. So it doesn't matter what works for somebody else. Make sure it works for you. And how I know when a product works for me is when my hair curls up and like shrinks down into like a little afro. Then I know my hair is just happy and it's loving it. So if you have curlier hair, if your hair starts to curl up when you use a product, that means that your hair is drinking it up and it's loving it. So stick with that. So the third thing that you want to make sure you have is a spray bottle. And I know that seems so basic. You're just like, really like a spray bottle, but yes, you want to make sure you have this because it's very essential that you water your hair every single day. So it kind of goes hand in hand with moisturizing and with using oils. To moisturize your hair, you need water. Your hair needs water to be moisturized, and you need to use your water even before you put the oil in your hair, right? So it's just helpful, at least I find it helpful, to have a spray bottle so that you can mist your hair. Because so like if you take a shower and you get your hair wet, that's fine, but you may not always want to get your hair that saturated or just have it soaking wet. You may just want like a light spritz, especially like in the mornings and stuff. Before you go to work, you can just spritz your hair and just make sure it has some kind of moisture on it, you know, some kind of water before you go out, especially in the winter times, or if you're in like a colder region and you know, you don't want to go out with a full wet head and be sick. So you just want to spritz your hair lightly, make sure at least your ends are sprayed, but I like to do all my hair. And just make sure your hair has a little bit of saturation before you go out, and do that every single day, and your hair will grow. That's one of the biggest things that people ask me about my hair is like, oh, how do you get your hair to grow so fast? Like, I don't know that it grows that fast necessarily, but the only thing I do is like I use oil and water. So I feel like it's so important to water our hair every single day, because if you think about it, your hair is like a plant. So when you water it, it will grow. Duh. Prime example, I used to work at this place that had 2 plants outside of the front door just for decoration. And there was a plant on the left side of the door and a plant on the right side. And when I used to leave work every day, we had like a little dog bowl for the dogs that come by the shop that I was working at. And I would always empty that dog bowl in this right plant when I came out of the door. And every day, boom, I would empty that plant, I would empty that water in there every single afternoon. And one day I started noticing, like, why is this bush bigger than this bush? And then it dawned on me, like, oh, because you're watering this one. It's actually getting nourishment, and so it's flourishing. So after I saw that, I really adopted the same method with my hair, and I said, okay, I'm just gonna water my hair every day consistently and just see what it does. And it's honestly, it's thrived. I do think that's part of why our hair doesn't grow when we have like permed hair, you know, is because that's the main thing that we're avoiding. We avoid water like the plague, because you know, we don't want to mess up our silk press, or we don't want to mess up our perm or our blowout, so we don't put any water in our hair. And so then we start feeling like, you know, oh, my hair doesn't grow, my hair isn't flourishing. Well, your hair is thirsty, you know, just like your body needs water, your hair needs water. So, and I don't say that to be funny, I'm just being serious. Like, our hair needs water. So give your hair some love, give your hair some water, and get yourself a spray bottle, okay? Boom. Thing number 4 that you want to make sure you have, get you a bonnet, boo. You probably already have your bonnet, so this one should be good to go. But if you don't, you can always go buy your beauty supply and just pick up any bonnet that's good for your head or your hair size. Make sure it's satin, because satin is going to help you retain moisture into your hair. And so for me, this is my Loc bonnet. I don't know if y'all can see that. It is kind of long because it's just easier for me to get my hair in here. And so what I do is, so I grab the bonnet and I flip my hand inside it, kind of like a pillowcase. I have it inside out. I grab my hair at the end, and then I pull all my hair into the bonnet, right? So even though you got locks, you still need your bonnet, boo. And if your hair is shorter, it's so much easier to just get like a regular, just traditional size bonnet. The smaller ones is really easy, but I got this one from Family Dollar and it was $6. So super affordable, very inexpensive. But what this is gonna do, like I was just saying, it's gonna help you keep the moisture in your hair, first of all. And that's super important because we work so hard to do all of this and get all the moisture in our hair that we want to retain it. You want to make sure your hair is not dry, because that's when you're susceptible to breakage and damage and things like that. And especially if you're like me and you have colored hair or you plan to have colored locks, you really have to go above and beyond to make sure you have moisture in your hair so that it's not dry and damaged. So this is gonna help with that a whole lot. Also, what this bonnet is gonna do is it's gonna make it easier to sleep at night, and you're gonna have less friction. Because I find when I used to just go to bed, because let me tell y'all, when I first locked, I was just like, oh yeah, I don't have to do nothing, I'm free, let me throw this bonnet away, I'm done, right? But I found that when I was sleeping, like when your head is on a cotton pillowcase and it just rubs up against it, it's kind of abrasive and it's kind of uncomfortable as you're tossing and turning your head. So having this bonnet on just makes it kind of glide across the pillow, and it's really smooth and it feels really comfortable. So along with it feeling more comfortable to sleep, it's also nice to just have your hair off of your back and off of your skin and off of your shoulders. It's better on your skin, less irritation and abrasion on your skin. And it's also less, like I said, just friction on your hair, because when your hair is constantly rubbing up against things and rubbing against your back and your shirt and the bed and the pillow, that will make your hair break off just from all the friction. So it's gonna reduce a whole lot on friction and keep the health of your hair. And it's also gonna help with cotton, because you may or may not realize, but having locks, like your hair picks up little pieces of cotton, you know, from your shirt or from your pillowcase, depending what type of pillowcase you have, or from your mattress. I've been in hotels and stuff that have like feather pillows, and I would wake up and I would have like feathers in my hair, like little tiny feathers. And so if you sleep with your bonnet, you're a lot less likely to have all of this stuff catching on to your hair. And usually when it happens and you're asleep, you don't realize it. And so if you're not checking the back of your hair like regularly, you might not know it's there. And then what happens is it weaves into your locks. And now you walking around and you got all this cotton and lint in your hair. I see a lot of people with lint in their hair, and it kind of irks me because I'm a little OCD and I want to go pick it out. But mostly I just, I kind of feel bad, because it's like, dang, if they had just known to wear like some kind of bonnet or some kind of scarf or anything satin at night to protect their hair, then they probably wouldn't have, you know, so many little particles in their hair. But you only know what you know, right? So, but that's why I'm telling you, so you can be up on game and you won't be walking around with a lint trap in your hair, because that's not cute, okay? But if you do get lint, you can always brush your hair with just a normal, let's see if I have a normal, I do. This is a dirty brush, but just get you a normal bristled brush and just brush your hair, and that will really help with the lint. And I do brush my hair probably once a week, or maybe probably every 4 or 5 days. Honestly, I don't do it often, but maybe like once a week I'll go in and brush my hair, just because if there is any kind of lint or any kind of particles, I want to make sure that I'm keeping those off of my hair and that they don't have a chance to like weave and embed into your hair, you know what I'm saying? So that's probably a bonus one. Get you a brush, boo, but most of us have a brush laying around. So number 5, this one is major. Get you a crochet hook. You can get any size. This is a 0.75 millimeter crochet hook, and there are some a little smaller, and there might be some a little bigger, the 0.6 millimeter. But basically, get you a crochet hook, because this is super helpful for any kind of imperfections that you find in your hair. Like if you see a section, let me see if I can find one. If you see any sections that are just really weak and you have like a gap in your hair, you can pull it together and crochet it and just make it thick so that the hair is healthy. You can always use this to maintain your hair, and that way you won't be walking around with these big gaps in your hair where you have lock and then like a thin strand of hair and then more lock. So fold your hair up and go ahead and use this to crochet it, and then that will make your hair nice and full, completely down the whole length of your lock. That way, because that way it won't snap, because if you just leave it as like a little strand, 9 times out of 10 your hair is going to snap at some point along the way. You might not even notice it, or you might go to put a ponytail in and then that little piece of hair just snaps off. I don't have any more because I pretty much maintain them all. Let me see, that might be the only one that's kind of like, it's a little thin right there in the middle. I don't know if you can see right there. So that's one that I would probably do and fold it and crochet it. Like I said, just to avoid any damage. So you might lose just a pinch of length, but you'll end up keeping the rest of your hair as opposed to that accidentally getting ripped off. So definitely get you one of these. It's also good to help you for your retwist. If you have just a section of hair that just won't stay twisted, you know, what you can do is just take this crochet needle and go ahead and tangle it. And just keep doing that and twisting the lock. And eventually it'll tangle it, and so it'll go ahead and lock up any kind of roots or any kind of hair that's just taking forever to form. You can go ahead and kind of do a quick hack and a little quick cheat and just go ahead and tangle it. Again, that way you won't be susceptible to having any kind of breakage or anything like that. Another thing this tool is good for is putting locks together. If you have any that are too skinny and you feel like they are at risk of being ripped out or torn off or anything like that, put them bad boys together and crochet them together. That way they'll be safe and secure. They'll become one lock, and it'll be a lot safer for both locks if they're together and they have like the buddy system and have something to hold on to. So the last thing you want to have, but I feel like the easiest, everybody should have this around their house, and that is a good conditioner. This also goes into what I was mentioning earlier about moisture. We really want to keep our hair moisturized just as if it was loose natural hair. And one thing we do with our loose hair is we deep condition, you know, we do hot oil treatments and we moisturize. So your hair is still hair, even though it's in locks and it's, you know, hugging each other, it's still hair. It still needs love, it still needs moisture. So you really want to make sure you have you a good conditioner to just bring life back into your hair when it's feeling dry or when it's feeling blah. Or you could also co-wash. If you are not a big fan of shampoo, you can just do a good co-wash, and that'll get your hair clean, get it smelling fresh, and help you keep the moisture without, you know, stripping all that moisture that we put into our hair back out. So that's why I love conditioner so much, because shampoos can be a little drying sometimes. You know, sometimes you really want a deep cleanse and you want a shampoo and you want to go in and just really strip your hair of everything and start over. But a lot of times we don't need that. We just need a quick cleanse, especially like if you've been to the gym, or if you've been out in the sun all day and you're working and it's hot, or if you've been to the beach. The beach will wreck your hair, okay? Especially that salt water, it'll dry your hair out. It will fry your hair. When I went to Puerto Rico, I don't know if you guys have seen my Puerto Rico vlog, but it fried my hair. And when I came back from that trip, I actually had to cut off about 2 inches of my hair because my ends were just so wrecked and so damaged, and I had to deep condition my hair multiple times and condition it multiple times. So it's so important to do that, and that's what helped bring my hair back to life, thank God. But it's definitely good to have your conditioner on hand. This one's just a cheap one, but I just love the smell of Aussie. I can't help it. I'm so obsessed with the smell of this, so I just keep getting it, and it's affordable, and I get a really big jar of it, which I love because I use a lot of conditioner. Like shampoo, I probably have this much left, right? But my conditioner, I be using my conditioner, let's just say that. So I just like that I can get a good decent sized bottle. But you can opt for a more expensive brand of conditioner. It's always worth investing in it and investing in your hair and investing in your moisture. For example, like I really love Shea Moisture's conditioners and deep conditioners. But I feel like they're so good that my hair eats them up, and then I just run out so quickly. So that's why I haven't been buying it, but I genuinely love their products and I love how it makes my hair feel. So you know, if you do want to invest in a more expensive conditioner, do it. It's totally worth it. I recommend it. It's great for your hair. At the end of the day, you want what's best for your hair. I just find that, you know, the Aussie for right now, it works for me. And like I said, I get a lot of it for the price and because I'm going to use a lot of it. And I just really love the smell. I can't tell you. I don't know why. I just love the smell of the Aussie. So that's what I use. But get you a conditioner. Make sure you have that under the counter. So just to recap, we want to have our rubber bands of some sort. We want to have some kind of oil to moisturize. You want to have a spray bottle so that you can have water to moisturize. Definitely make sure you get you a bonnet for sleeping at night. Get you a crochet needle for maintenance. And get you some conditioner. And that's going to keep your hair thriving and looking beautiful and moisturized. But for now, that is the end of this video. And I'm so glad you stopped by to check it out. And I'm so grateful and thank you guys for all the love as always. Thank you for checking out my video and seeing my progress today. And I hope these tips help you out in the future. And keep going on your journey. Happy locking, and I'll see you in the next video.
Okay, bye.